I'm American. I'm sorry for everything.
Good evening, welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Charlie Brooker. In the news this week... Also in the news this week, as John Lewis's Christmas advert makes a star of Buster the Dog, there's humiliation for one rival as their failed audition tape is leaked online. Michael Gove's neighbours watch on their CCTV as he narrowly avoids stepping on the hidden trap door to their shark tank. And the Republican Party put in place measures to ensure a scandal-free presidency as Donald Trump spots an attractive woman in the crowd. On Ian's team tonight is an actress who, in an interview in 2015, said she was considering emigrating to the United States. I think she's just changed her mind. Please welcome Maureen Lipman. And with Paul tonight is a comedian who, on a programme this week, promised that if Trump won the election, he would never appear on television again. So please welcome shamefaced liar Rich Hall. The safest place to be.
I know.
We start...
Nope, I'm not coming up.
We start with the biggest stories of the week. Paul and Rich, can you see? Take a look at this.
Yes, let's have a look. I wonder what it's going to be. Oh, yeah, this is news that Toblerone has changed the shape of its chocolate. What's happened is there's sort of a traditional sort of pyramid shape of the Toblerone. In order to save costs, they've actually made the Toblerone gaps bigger. As you can see, a lot of these people are very angry about it. There we are.
Have you noticed anything else that's happened this week, Paul? Tuesday evening?
Oh, bingo night.
I can fill you in.
Oh, Rich knows he's more of an American than I am.
America's elected its last president.
It's too depressing, it is, and I understand this is a comedy show, although I haven't seen any so far. Well,
We just had a whole lot of footage of Trump. It's not a comedy show. Do you see his family? It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
You got 4 years of comedy gold coming up. Cheer up. It may involve nuclear weapons and other countries, but it's going to be funny.
Did you see how the news was reported in the world's press?
Yeah, there were some brilliant headlines.
Here is one. That's the Newcastle Herald. Newcastle Herald. There's this one, a German newspaper. Finally, my favourite, this pithy Mexican entry. Do you think this means that misogyny and racial hatred are the way forward?
Not the way that Toblerone have handled it, no.
Everything he says can be underscored by the sound of a beer can opening. We need to get rid of these Mexicans. He always wants to build a wall. I was in York last week. 3 Mexican restaurants in the middle of town. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's it.
It sounds like they're actually very progressive, his voters. They voted for, I mean, you know, it's bad news for minorities and women and all the other people, that many people he's insulted, but on the plus side, progressively, they've elected the first openly crazy man to the most powerful office in the world.
Yeah, because they
Which
believe...
is a step forward. They've broken the rubber-padded ceiling.
It's great to be back on a cliff edge, you know?
Yeah.
With Hillary, you knew what you were going to get.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get a woman who... I don't know anything about emails either, but she deletes her history, but now we got a guy who's going to delete all history.
How did Trump echo Martin Luther King in his victory speech?
Well, Martin Luther King had a dream, and this guy's a nightmare.
He's a man who's so used to getting his own way, and now he won't be able to get his own way, despite the fact that everybody says, oh, you're the most powerful man in the world. He'll blow up. He'll say something about Angela Merkel. He'll try and knock off the Queen. He'll do something. He won't be able to control himself. It's a long way even before the inauguration.
I thought for a minute you said he's going to try and knock up the Queen, which...
You get a man who stands in front of his country and says, I don't pay my... Or, I don't pay my tax.
It's uncanny, it's like he's here.
I don't pay my tax, and they think that's great. He's smart. He says, I don't pay my tax because the law doesn't make me. And they vote him in.
It's difficult to know what he could have said that would have put people off voting for him, as he seems to have said everything.
Yeah.
He could have said,
I can
I am
shoot a guy in-
Hillary Clinton.
You just have to accept there's a lot of dumb people on the planet.
Yeah. And
That's
who
why,
really
that's why there's ITV.
Are there any silver linings?
Yeah,
that we
he's
can
going to
think
have a
of?
court case as soon as he gets in, because there are 3 places taking him to court for Trump University, which he created to teach people about real estate. And he didn't get any proper staff, and he's made millions. He was charging them like $35,000 to just turn up and have someone chat to them about the housing market.
Are you suggesting that Donald Trump is a crook?
No, I'm suggesting that he's a moron, misogynist, sexist, vulgarian orange head.
Orange head.
Which leads us back to Toblerone's new flavour for Christmas.
I've got a silver lining here.
Have you gone in?
One silver lining.
Yeah.
Katie Hopkins
Yes.
said she'll move to the USA if Trump got elected. So, actually, I'm just going to book her an Uber to get there. Can you think of any other silver linings?
I've never watched an election a U.S. election unfold overnight from London, from watching the BBC overnight. And that's the way, if you want to watch America go down the dumper, watch it through the befuddled nocturnal fog of a man named Andrew Neil. Watching a man who's just barely on top of everything. And he just sits there, and you had other people beside. He looks like he's squeezed in like this. And then when they're not there, he still looks like he's squeezed in. Like his body's trying to eject itself. And he comes out, and he's trying to explain the Electoral College, and nobody quite gets it, because it's impossible to explain it. Somebody's got to get it 270. And now you're watching a scoreboard at a bowling alley. And then finally they give up, and they just bring out this guy who just dances on a map. He dances on a map, and he's trying to show all the states with his feet. He's going like, oh, there's Wisconsin, and there's Ohio, and oh, there's a red state turning blue. Oh, I mean, Christ, Trump is becoming president, and the guy's playing Twister. And then finally, there's just at the top of Andrew Neil's head, spray-on thatch thing. And comes back up at 6:30 and says, Trump's president, and great, Trump's president, I'm watching an acorn talk to me.
The longest TV review I've ever heard. There's no point in listening to anybody. I decided this after reading newsprint for the last 2 years. Everyone was wrong about absolutely everything.
No one saw it coming.
Nearly all political punditry, nearly all political analysis turned out to be completely wrong. So it means you just don't have to read this stuff. You just guess. Everything they said would happen didn't happen. Everybody said Trump couldn't possibly win at every point, and it was all rubbish. No one knew anything.
Is that one good thing, that perhaps there'll be no more polls because they're always wrong?
What will they do instead of polls? They could just cut to a jazz band for 5 minutes on the news.
I think we should do entrails.
It's the polls themselves. Has anybody here ever taken part in a poll? There you go. People aren't savvy enough to cut a wide berth when they see somebody coming at them with a clipboard.
The Sun did have a point. I mean, the Sun had
The Sun did have a point.
The Sun had a
Stop
point.
it.
They had a silver lining. They printed a silver lining today. They said he may be much less crazy than he sounds. Just grasping at straws. Or he might,
This whole thing could be an undercover operation in order for him to become American president, where he can then reveal his true self.
Yeah, it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Who might be selected for Trump's team?
Ku Klux Klan?
Sarah Palin?
Well, Sarah Palin is rumoured to be in the running for Secretary of State.
You see?
Love Sarah, love her. Who else? Someone closer to home.
Tony Oblerone. He's a Mexican. He's been brought in. Calm the waters.
There's someone who wants a job.
Nigel Farage. Yeah, he's over there.
Oh,
He's
God.
gone already. It's so sad to see him go, isn't it?
Yeah, he wants to be Trump's ambassador to the EU.
Yep.
He's going to be the ambassador.
Oh, no, go for it. Go
What's
for
going
it.
to happen?
We've
gonna
established
happen.
the whole thing is comedy. Let's just go for it.
Can you tell me what was one of the first casualties of the election results?
Yeah,
Go on.
The Canadian Visitors website shut down.
Yeah, Canada's citizenship and immigration website crashed because so many Americans were inquiring about moving there. I fancy somewhere further away than Canada, like Mars. There's been these adverts on the BBC for somewhere called Planet Earth 2.
That's where we go.
Trump's potential to put the cat amongst the pigeons was spotted back in the early 90s. Who by?
Oh, is this Michael Moore or The Simpsons?
No, it's neither of them. It's Saint and Greavesy. What? Saint and Greavesy. Here's an interesting clip.
The draw for the 5th round of the Rumbelows League Cup. Assisting me with the draw are Jimmy Greaves, who will draw the home team, and Donald Trump, who will draw the away team. Number 5, Leeds United.
Against number 6.
Will play Manchester United.
Oh, Donald, you don't realise what you've done there.
This is the shock news for America that after all these years of trying to impose it on the rest of the world, democracy may, in fact, be shit. The Obamas are already making plans for handing over the White House to Donald Trump. They've hidden the nuclear codes and broken the hairdryer. Yet again, the opinion pollsters utterly failed to see the shock result coming. First Brexit, now this. Frankly, I'm off to put a tenner on Honey G to win the X Factor and Ched Evans to be voted Sports Personality of the Year. Ian and Maureen, take a look at this.
Taj Mahal? That's not a judge.
That's the front cover of what I can only describe as the Mail. That's Nigel Farage having his...
Cake and eating it. The thing about Brexit was it was referred to the courts.
Yeah.
The judgment, they said it's got to be referred to Parliament. It's got to have an act of Parliament. And then a lot of the press went sort of slightly bonkers. And the Mail ran this enormous headline, Enemies of the People, about the judges, which isn't... It's not got good precedence, because it was originally Robespierre, just before the terror. Then it was borrowed by Lenin. Then, let's be honest, it was Hitler. Then it was Pol Pot. And then it was the Daily Mail. So it's got a sort of...
The Express got quite emotional about it. They said, today this country faces a crisis as grave as anything since the dark days when Churchill vowed we would fight them on the beaches. Truly, November the 3rd, 2016 was the day democracy died.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of Tories said, can you stop being hysterical? Can we calm down? And the Spectator, which isn't exactly known as a hotbed of radical lefties, said this is a perfectly reasonable judgment. And one Tory MP actually resigned. He said, you know, obviously it's got to go back to Parliament. The UKIPers weren't great either. Suzanne Evans, she said, what's very important is to have an independent judiciary which should be subject to control. Farage said there'd be riots in the streets.
You've drawn a picture of Nigel Farage, haven't you?
I have drawn a picture of Nigel.
Yeah. This is a separate career we didn't know existed.
No.
Should we have a quick look at it?
Can we borrow this?
Is this in a book that you've got coming out?
It is, Ian, yes. Thank
Good
you.
grief, I was paid so much for that.
Anyway, back to reality.
Yes.
What did Lord Chancellor Liz Truss do wrong?
She didn't speak, did she? Didn't say anything.
She didn't stand up for the judges.
Yeah.
Yes, she did give a very weak and late defence of the judges, not nearly as passionate as we know Liz can be when she's talking about something she truly loves.
Yeah.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is a disgrace.
Naturally, many people were looking to the opposition to condemn the press coverage of the judges. What did Jeremy Corbyn do?
He made jam.
Well, actually, he immediately sprang into action. He took to Twitter. I'm on Snapchat. Add Jeremy Corbyn MP or scan below to see snaps of meetings, interviews and the odd bit of gardening. Corbyn was approached by the Daily Mirror about the possibility of an early election. How did he respond?
He said, stop harassing me.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Would you like to see?
I'd love to see
Take
it.
a
I've
look.
watched it quite a lot.
Happy if Theresa May got the general election. Okay, he's not doing this if he decided to call the election.
Can we go outside? Because we're being harassed here.
I am a professional. If the country wants to know what the leader of the opposition thinks about the possibility of a general election.
It's never good when you're asked, do you want to fight an election, and you run away out the door. It suggests you're not exactly gung-ho for the democratic challenge.
Did you notice what he did at the end there?
The possibility of a general election.
Basically, as a leader, he shouldn't really be trying to hide. And as a hider, he shouldn't be hiding behind glass. What did we learn about how Corbyn is perceived across the pond this week?
Oh, somebody said he's mad. Was it Clinton? Bill Clinton said, that one's completely mad, he said.
WikiLeaks revealed some more Clinton emails, which revealed that Bill was slightly baffled by Corbyn being made leader last year, saying that Labour had made the unlikely decision to choose the maddest person in the room.
That's not counting Diane Abbott, of course. No, mean it. No, listen. This is somebody who hasn't even got control of her own breath.
You do Theresa May as well. I'm thinking of political balance here.
I was at a charity for ovarian cancer the other week, and I was just walking towards... Just walking towards the, I'll have to get up, walking towards the microphone, and I suddenly found myself transmogrifying into Theresa May. I just suddenly sort of hollowed out my body and started walking forward like that. And then, you know, the voice is slightly between two registers, isn't it? And there's a slight sort of feeling like that. Slightly like that, and I noticed that there were breadsticks on all the tables, so I did point out that breadsticks means breadsticks. So no, I can't do
Anyway, this is the ongoing fight between Brexiteers and Rexiteers, Ramonas, Remainers, Bramonas, Bramainers. Let's call the whole thing off, subject to a judicial review. According to the Daily Star, Brexit has been good news for some people's salaries. Thanks to the slump in the pound against the euro, MEPs like Nigel Farage are pocketing an extra £1,000 a month. Hang on, has this whole thing just been one massive episode of Hustle? There are fears Brexit may be held up by the House of Lords. This week, Andrew Lloyd Webber expressed his irritation at being expected to participate in the House of Lords, saying, "I was put in as an honour, not as a working peer, not as lobby fodder. I'm fed up with the fact that I keep being asked now to go in and vote for things about which I don't have knowledge." All right, Andrew, don't make a song and dance about it. No, really, please, don't make a song and dance about it. And so to round two, the strengthometer of news. Fingers on buzzers. Here is the first one.
Donald Trump has been elected president of the United States of America.
It's the news that Toblerone have betrayed the will of the British people by changing the dimensions of a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Do you know how the bar has changed?
Yes, the pyramids have sort of got more of a gap between them now.
Yeah. This is a photograph of Toblerone
Yeah,
before.
go on. We're all familiar with that.
And this is after.
12.
A monstrosity.
People have suggested a use for the new look Toblerone.
I can think of one.
Do you want to know what it is? Can you think of a use for it?
Yeah, you can park 5 bicycles.
That's not a bad suggestion.
You can measure your feet with it.
Yes.
Foot measuring device.
Anything you can measure your feet with.
You put your kid's foot down on one.
Yeah.
And then you cut out the triangles that his foot goes in.
Yeah.
And where his heel meets that.
Yeah, that's it.
Measured his foot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll work.
Is this Dragon's Den? His arm out. Former Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott got involved in the Toblerone row.
Well, it's a very important issue.
He tweeted, "Brexit just got real." To which one wag replied, "They've announced a post-Article 51.2. People have suggested you can hold your toast in it. Anyway, another snack-related news.
Yeah.
What controversy did a fan of cookies get into this week?
It's the Cookie Monster. I believe made an appearance on the One Show and wore a poppy.
Take a look.
So the Cookie Monster is with us. Welcome to the One Show.
There you go. Lest we forget those who fell at nom 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 Normandy.
Was it a controversy then?
I don't know if you've noticed it, but that he's a puppet.
Yeah, but by the standards of the One Show, that's not necessarily a problem. I posted it. I know what I'm talking about.
This is the news that Toblerones have got smaller. One outraged chocolate lover tweeted, "Utterly ridiculous decision. I'll never buy one of these. Good luck finding another last-minute present at Heathrow. I hope your kids like travel adapters." Meanwhile, on the One Show, Chris Tarrant was joined on the sofa by the Cookie Monster, who was controversially wearing a poppy. The BBC admitted they may have made a misjudgment in putting a poppy on the Cookie Monster and hastily cancelled their plans for Big Bird to lay a wreath at the cenotaph. Fingers on buzzers again, please. Here comes the next one.
That's poor Prince Harry. The press have moved in on this, the new girlfriend, and it is a shame because it's clearly the beginning of a relationship. And just leave him alone.
It wasn't just the press, though, was it? He was having a go at everyone on Twitter and Facebook.
But it's horrible, all this trolleying business. We're living in
trolleying? Is that what it's called now? People coming around your house and throwing a supermarket trolley. Don't like your opinions.
Yeah.
But he was very upset about people being rude about her below the line, as it were.
And a tinge of racism he detected there.
Yes.
Rachel Johnson writing in the Mail, I believe, described Meghan's mum as a dreadlocked African-American lady from the wrong side of the tracks. Headline in the same paper said, Harry's girl is almost straight out of Compton, as they revealed the gang-scarred home of her mother. I don't know what gang scarring is. I think it's like pebble dashing.
I did read something in the Express that it would really help if Harry just came and posed for some photographs and then it would all go away.
What sort of photographs?
Probably naked.
He's done that before.
Yeah, and I think she's done a bit of it too. So
well, no, to be fair to her, so, I mean, she's an actress, and she was in a show called Suits, and there was a scene in that was, I think, vaguely steamy, and it
Birthday
ended up...
suits.
Suits. She was clothed, but it ended up on Pornhub.
Oh.
Are you familiar with Pornhub?
It's incredibly familiar.
Yeah.
Was she wearing a poppy?
That's probably why they're upset, to be fair. What is the press's counter-argument?
He's the prince, he's the second son, it's his job to provide entertainment. The first son is there to be boring, and William's doing that terrifically. And he goes to Canada and says good evening to moose and, you know, other animals, and that goes very well. And the second son, you know, we want a bit of action, bit of raunch, bit of American actress. So that's his job.
To be...
Interesting, naked, like Princess Margaret, pissed.
This is Prince Harry's formal complaint about the treatment of his girlfriend Meghan Markle. According to The Times, Meghan has been subjected to a wave of sexist and racist abuse. Well, if he will take her round to see his granddad. Time for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Paint and Resin Times. That's a magazine that doesn't gloss over the issues and isn't afraid to stir up emulsions. And we start with Dave, the record-breaking worm, what?
Is it refuses to take responsibility for the referendum?
Dave, the record-breaking worm, is immediately killed by scientists. Yes, upon finding Dave, the UK's longest ever earthworm, there he is. Paul Rees sent him to the Natural History Museum, where he was immediately killed in the name of science. Why did he send it to a museum, though? I mean, why not send it to a zoo if he wanted it to live?
Well, it's been a pretty poor zoo that would exhibit a worm. I've seen the worms of Whipsnade.
Don't get out of the car.
Don't get out of the car, they can turn.
Next, fight breaks out when husband comes home and finds his wife, what?
Painted blue.
This is the old joke. Fight breaks out when a husband comes home and finds his wife in bed with 3 policemen. And the husband says, hello, hello, hello. And the wife says, what's the matter? Why aren't you talking to me then? That's the joke. Finds his wife in bed with Dave, the record-breaking worm. That's brilliant.
Animals are involved.
Fight breaks out when a husband goes home and finds his wife in bed with an ocelot.
So tempted to give you that.
Well, that's what he said to the ocelot.
Its fight breaks out when husband comes home and finds his wife with another penguin.
With another penguin?
With another penguin. That was the twist! Yes, this is a National Geographic video clip involving a penguin love triangle which ended in violence between the males. Next, bus disguised as brick wall what?
Heads for Mexican border.
Bus disguised as brick wall, seek similar.
It's bus disguised as brick wall turns heads in Liverpool. This is apparently it's from Paint and Resin Times. Here is the bus.
Oh, wow.
The finishing touch to the exhibit came when the wheels were nicked and it had to be put up on bricks. So there you go.
It's a Liverpool joke.
Take that, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Finally, is what Britain's saddest hobby?
Taking your children to be DNA tested. That would be a pretty sad hobby, wouldn't it? They're not yours.
Consolidating your freckles with a marker pen.
Yeah.
The answer is photographing pub carpets. Britain's saddest hobby. Here you go, here's one.
That's all right.
Oh,
That's all right, it's actually better than you thought, isn't it? Here's another one.
Art Deco. Very Art Deco.
Racy. And finally, look at this. See? It's actually quite good. Of course, what a mere photograph can't really convey is the squelch. Anyway, the final scores are Paul and Rich with 5 and Ian and Maureen with 3. But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
I'm just having this cup of tea and then I'm going home.
Can you go now? I'm expecting an ocelot at 5:30.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists Ian Hislop and Maureen Littman, Paul Merton and Rich Hall, and I leave you with news that TV audiences around the world are coming to terms with a Donald Trump presidency, leading to a destabilised, chaotic and divided America. A resort just outside Moscow hosts a bonding away day for Vladimir Putin's cabinet. And in Dover, 2 UKIP supporters spot a member of the judiciary out for a stroll. Good night.
And have I got news for you back? The other side of children in need in 2 weeks' time. Next, a local care home suddenly becomes slightly more appealing when the boys meet its manager. Still game on the way.